I read over the actual NHSTA report today and then also your article. Can you tell me a little bit about what this article showed?
Well, it's kind of an incomplete report, really, as of now. Like NHTSA made it clear it's an initial report. I assume that there's going to be a more comprehensive one coming in the future. That right now is just kind of raw data without context. So there's not that much that we can infer from it right now, other than just crashes on advanced driver assist system are a thing, and they happen somewhat frequently. But we cannot really say like Tesla is clearly at the top in terms of the overall number of crashes, but that doesn't mean much at this time if you don't put it in the context of how many cars are equipped with that system and how many miles are driven on that system, which is what we really need to know, really.
So that's one thing that I think stuck out to me. Like you said, Tesla, obviously numbers wise, had the most crashes, but they also have a lot of cars on the road compared to some of those other companies, correct?
Yeah, it's super hard to tell exactly how many are equipped with it. Technically, all Tesla vehicles that are produced right now have it. Tesla made it standard. Autopilot didn't used to be. You used to have to pay for it. But there's different tiers with different feature, different ADAS feature in the different packages. But I think for the last 3 years now, the last 3 years, it has been completely free. Like every car comes with traffic-aware cruise control and lane keeping. So, which Tesla call AutoStar. So with those two features, that's considered a level 2 ADAS system from for NHTSA. So that's where the crashes that are reported on. So there were 200 something crashes with that system activated, and it could be as many as like 1 million cars right now with that system. And in comparison, when you look at Ford, would add like barely a few crashes in that report. Ford has the Blue Cruise, which is another level 2 system. Equivalent to Autopilot. It's the competitor to Autopilot. And but we don't know how many cars they have that system, and you have to pay for it. It's an upgrade, or it's part of a wider package and include other features in the car. So Ford doesn't disclose what's the take rate on every, let's say, Mustang Mach-E that you can have that option on it. We just don't know that. But my strong assumption that Tesla, in terms of miles driven, far exceed every other ADAS system out there.
And then with this report with the autopilot, these are cars where there are still people in the car.
Oh, absolutely. At the level 2 system, that's all it is. It's cruise control, traffic aware cruise control. So the car will adapt to the speed of the traffic in front of it, and it keeps you in your lane. In the case of Tesla, you can also change lane automatically depending on the features that you have, but that's not even needed to be required to be a level 2 system. Now, what was interesting is the report split the level 2 system with the level 3 to 5 system, and that's where things get a lot murkier, because first of all, it was my first time that I saw that NHTSA would consider Tesla to have any kind of level 3 system, because they did put a crash in there. They didn't specify what crash it was, though we have our suspicion, because there was a crash on FSD Beta earlier this year. So the assumption right now is that NHTSA might consider Tesla FSD Beta, which is a completely different program than the Autopilot. Well, not completely different, but different than Autopilot. And it sounds like they consider that a level 3, which normally, again, when you get to level 3 and up, it gets a lot murkier, but normally you would think that it doesn't require driver monitoring of the system, meaning that there has to be a gap between when the system say, okay, now you have to pay attention, now you don't have to pay attention, and you can get your hands off the wheel. For Tesla Autopilot and FSD Beta, which again, the Beta it's a test program at this time, you always have to keep your hands on the wheel, and you have to stay attentive at all time and be ready to take control, because it's not a perfect system, far from perfect, really. So yeah, it sounds like now NHTSA consider the FSD Beta level 3. Yeah, all of those systems, to answer your question, all of those systems require driver attention at this moment. There's no real self-drive. I know there's a lot of headlines right now since the report came out that, oh, this is Tesla 200 something crash on self-driving. That's not accurate. There's no self-driving system. Even Tesla brought some of that on itself because they called their system full self-driving beta, but it is no way self-driving right now. The system does a lot and it's impressive, but driver attention is required all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because the drivers are supposed to be the ones to take the responsibility and make sure they're still.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Like when you're gonna start seeing like a true development of a big breakthrough in self-driving is when you're gonna see companies take responsibility for what the system does. And at this time, Tesla takes no responsibility whatsoever. You're starting to see that, like in Europe, for example, like Mercedes has been authorized to have a level 3 system, and they even tell you like you don't have to pay attention when that system is being operated. So you can like answer email, you can look at your phone, and that's actually like legal apparently in some places in Germany. But the system has a lot of limitation too, and it's only on certain roads that it's allowed, and it's so level 3 is kind of geofence that they call it, like they don't allow it everywhere.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
And then I guess from this report, like you said, is kind of the basic numbers. You don't feel like it shows a lot. Do you think there are any like impacts that'll come from this report or anything like that? Because like you said, it is being talked about a lot today.
Yeah, it is being talked about a lot. I think we get very little value from that report as it stands right now. I would really assume that NHTSA is going to come out with a lot more comprehensive data in the near future, and I hope so. Otherwise, kind of premature for them to not only put that out there, but like they send a press release and everything, which NHTSA doesn't always do when they put out a report and like that. So it sounds like they want that to be publicized, but I would have put that on their with more context, really. I think would be, but there is still value. I'm not saying there is no value whatsoever. Like it is news that, all right, these systems have crashes, but though we already knew that to a degree as of late, really.
Sorry, you paused for a little bit there right now. I think it was my internet connection. But you were saying there is value in, of course, tracking these things for this new technology, but that's not the end all be all report.
Exactly.
Is there anything else you think is important for people to know, I guess, on this topic or to do with this report?
Well, I mean, self-driving is coming. Like there's no doubt about it. It's about when, and it's about how, because obviously with this tiered level system, it's kind of confusing for the wider public. Like, what should I be looking for? Should I be looking for a level 2, level 3, level 4? And every automaker has a different approach. So it's an interesting way that they break it down. And like if you look at the report purely like that, it looks like, well, the level 2 system are a lot more dangerous because there's a lot more crashes than on the 3, 4, and 5. Of course, like again, if you were to put the miles driven on those two, you'd probably get at least 10 times, if not more, miles driven on level 2 than 3, 4, and 5 all combined together. There's no doubt about that. Because level 2s are actually in the hands of consumers right now, while level 3, 4, and 5, there is some commercial system being deployed right now, like in San Francisco and Phoenix by Waymo and Cruise, but it's extremely limited for the most part. The miles driven right now for level 3, 4, and 5 are all test vehicles. So it's interesting to look at that way and to track it in the next few years to see how it compares, how it evolves. And I assume that's the goal of NHTSA with this new report, because this is the first time they come out with this. It's going to be interesting too, because they're going to be able to, in the case of Tesla, they're going to be able to pull more data from Tesla. Tesla has been notoriously more secretive about their data in this case, and they've been able to use some loopholes to circumvent disclosure before, especially in California, where the DMV has asked companies that have been testing self-driving in the state to have a lot of disclosure, especially when it comes to driver disengagement, driver intervention, and things of the sort, including crashes. And Tesla has made its way around that by claiming that all their systems are level 2, which again, to a degree, technically it is true. But at the same time, when you claim that you have a full self-driving beta with people testing the beta, like it's hard to argue that you're not testing self-driving vehicles in the States. It's literally what you're calling it. So I think maybe this report longer term is going to bring us more data about the Tesla's own testing, because Elon Musk has been notoriously against releasing any kind of data with Tesla. When he was asked recently about it, he literally, instead, someone, I think a shareholder meeting, an investor asked whether Tesla is going to release driver intervention data about the full self-driving beta, and his response was literally, "You just have to try the beta for yourself instead." Even though trying the beta literally means you need to have a car, a Tesla vehicle, you need to pay the $12,000 to have the full self-driving, or the $200 subscription, and then you need to achieve a driver safety score that's high enough for Tesla to invite you to the full self-driving beta. So it's not like an easy thing to do, so I guess more scrutiny on that front is inviting that by not being transparent about it. So from that case, that's why I think the report right now is being blown up a lot. It's people are interested in it because there's nothing else.
I guess one more question related to this, because we're based in Austin, Texas. Tesla moved their headquarters here, and Austin's starting to become a place where they're testing out some different self-driving systems. I know, I believe it's Argo AI is testing some stuff here soon. Like you said, it is happening, and we're going to probably keep seeing more of that here in Austin, I would assume.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think reported last year that Tesla was literally looking for, they call it test operators for ADAS system and self-driving system, which Tesla has its own internal testing people, and now they are building a fleet of that in Austin, or at least based in Austin. But for the most part, Tesla is mostly known for having like customer being their their testers, their test operators for self-driving features. Right now, the FSD beta has like 100,000 people in it. Most of those people are customers like me. I actually got the full self-driving beta in my car last week. So this is a very, very unique approach that only Tesla has for the moment. But I didn't know that the Argo AI was coming to Austin. That's cool.
Yeah, they're launching some stuff here as well.